Hello folks, and thank you for tuning in to a brand new type of Snowflake Ironman account. Feast your eyes on GnomeEnvoy, the gnome-based area-locked ultimate Ironman. While our fearless ginger gnomekin makes his way through Tutorial Island, I'll be going over the restrictions, goals, and exceptions for the account. The concept for a gnome-only Ironman has been kicking around in my head for nearly half a year, but I couldn't quite figure out the rules the account would follow. I knew I wanted to complete Monkey Madness 2, and I knew that I wanted to fully utilize the various forms of gnome transportation, including the spirit trees, gliders, and eventually the hot air balloons. But I didn't quite know how everything would fit together. It wasn't until I began watching Pookaguy's recent OneChunkMan series that inspiration finally hit me. By limiting the account to the map tile each gnome transport method is located in, as well as the surrounding 8 map tiles for each location, I can limit the account while still keeping vital end goals within reach. Simply put, GnomeEnvoy can only travel within one map tile of any unlocked gnome transportation method. Any dungeons or other underground or indoors locations accessible via one of the 9 tiles counts as being a part of that tile. Any and all content may be completed within the unlocked tiles as long as it doesn't require leaving the allowed play area. For example, in our starting area near the Tree Gnome Village, I can complete Observatory Quest, Clock Tower Quest, Monk's Friend, and Fight Arena, but I can't play Castle Wars since the minigame takes place in out-of-bounds tiles. Of course, as is the case for most self-restricted Ironman accounts, there are some exceptions that must be made. Most of the Gnome quest line will take me to areas outside my allowed play area. Since our primary goal is to complete Monkey Madness 2, this exception is unavoidable. The next exception I'm considering is Slayer through Neve. At the very minimum, we need 69 Slayer for Monkey Madness 2. I'm planning on using Caveman Only's rules for Slayer, so I'd only be able to keep drops in areas that I've unlocked. The last exception would be for unlocking new spirit trees through farming. This is a very long-term goal, but it's something I've considered. This would allow me to eventually obtain a fire cape and, dare I say it, an infernal cape. In order to unlock these areas, I'd first need to utilize the exception to travel to them in order to plant the spirit seed. And that just about does it as far as rules for the account go. So let's make our way over to Lumbridge, where we will drop our starting items and do a quick telly to Castle Wars, where we can begin our journey as a gnome-based, area-only Ultimate Ironman. My first plan of action was to kill the goblins in the Observatory dungeon. They have some good drops such as armor pieces and arrows, even runes. But unfortunately, I was quickly overwhelmed with such low combat stats. So we moved over to the level 1 rats in the Tree Gnome Village maze, where we kicked our way to 5 attack and 5 strength. Then I remembered I could go pick up the free Khazard armor used in the Fight Arena quest, giving us our first gear upgrade on the account. Unfortunately, even with our new best-in-slot armor, we still just barely survived against 2 giant rats. And to make matters worse, we ended up burning both pieces of rat meat. 5 defense. I decided to take a break from rat punching for a bit to finally get through the maze and begin the Tree Gnome Village quest. This gives us access to the Elkoi shortcut and will prove vital to the account moving forward. Then we did some exploring and found the only general store that we currently have access to. We bought a tinderbox and a pickaxe. And the bronze pickaxe is actually our best weapon now, so that's... After that, we purchased a rake and got the very first farming XP on the account. Just a few more of these and we will be well on our way to 83 farming. Oh god. As I was killing the cows outside of Yanil, or Yanil? I honestly don't know. But I couldn't help but notice that there was a dairy cow over here, which is really strange because I don't think I've ever seen one of these outside of Lumbridge. Could be useful. Smelted the beef ore from our cow mining and got all the way to 4 cooking. At 7 cooking, it's actually possible to make baked potatoes, which heal 4 each, and you can buy them for just 1 GP at the cooking store in Yanil. So not only is it a great early food source for the account, but it's also a pretty decent method for training cooking early on as well. Got ourselves 5 thieving. So, I was watching UIM Pandemic's most recent video, and something he said really worried me.
Now at this point, I almost killed 300 goblins and still didn't achieve my Bronze Axe. So I decided to go on YouTube and check out some of those Loot from 1000 Goblins videos. And what do you know? Goblins do not drop a Bronze Axe. You would hope the drop tables for one of the most iconic monsters of RuneScape would be up to date, but yeah. So both our original plans have failed.
Now, if this is true, it would be absolutely devastating to the account. Without access to logs, not only would it prevent us from completing old school RuneScape's most epic, rewarding quest, the Monk's Friend, it would also prevent us from gaining access to spirit trees, since 6 logs are required to complete the Tree Gnome Village quest. This would force us to make an exception to go get logs from the Lumbridge Castle spawn, which is something I'd really prefer not to do. So I tested for myself. I killed a bunch of goblins, spent like an hour, and oh my fucking god, there it is. Our newfound woodcutting abilities were cause for celebration, so we partied it up with the monks at the monastery and completed our first quest on the account, bringing us all the way to 14 woodcutting. 10 cooking. Got a bronze spear from the observatory goblins. I'm not sure if it's actually better than the bronze axe, but it certainly looks cooler, which is a lot more important, I think. Got ourselves the bronze square shield, which is one of the main drops I wanted from these guys. And 10 defense. 15 attack. We also got ourselves the red cape, which will be our best cape for a very long time. Oh, and the brass necklace I forgot to mention earlier. 15 defense and 18 hit points in the same tick. Pretty cool. First easy clue scroll on the account, and lo and behold, we can't complete it. On the ground it stays. 20 strength. And at long last, we have obtained the bronze scimitar from goblins. This is now our new best in slot weapon, and as funny as it is to say this, we've now completed goblins. And we even got everything in under 150 kill count, so not bad. 20 attack, 20 defense, 13 prayer, which means that we can now use superhuman strength. And with that, we are done with goblins for the time being. I got pretty much all the drops I wanted, and the stats are looking pretty decent right now, so on to bigger and better things. And of course, bigger and better things means bigger and badder goblins, trying to go for some of the drops from the hobgoblins. Our first trip didn't go so well, so we're going to try to get ourselves some better food first. So I actually found out that the shop in Yanil sells all the supplies that we need in order to cook bread, which heals 5 as opposed to the baked potatoes 4. So that's going to be our main food source from now on. There's 15 cooking, by the way. During our second trip to hobgoblins, we fared a lot better. We took down 6 of them and actually got ourselves a steel spear, which I think may or may not be better than the bronze sim. I'm really not sure, to be honest. There's 15 woodcutting, just because. And there's a lovely 20 cooking. And there's 10 thieving. We ran out of money for buying food supplies, so we started pickpocketing. So at level 25 cooking, we unlocked the ability to make stews. So I made a full inventory, and it took quite a while. I think I timed it, and it was about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more than that. It's debatable whether or not it was worth it. They heal 11 as opposed to the bread's 5, so for now it's the best we have, really. So thankfully, on our next trip to hobgoblins, we were able to get the one item we wanted from them, which was the steel longsword, which I believe is our best weapon that we currently have access to. And there it is, a full plus 10 strength bonus over the bronze scimitar. So yeah, that's definitely our best weapon for now. So here we are in the graveyard just south of the Orania altar, just picking up bones and burying them for a couple of hours, it seemed. This was, and probably is, our quickest method for training prayer in the Tree Gnome Village area. But it's excruciatingly slow. I kind of toyed with the idea of getting 43 prayer from this in order to just protect melee against the Gazard Warlord. But after doing this for what seemed, again, like a few hours, and only getting 25 prayer out of it, I think we're going to have to come up with a different method. And so we took to fighting the level 28 soldiers in Yanil for a little bit, just on the off chance of getting the steel med helm that they drop occasionally. because it would be a pretty decent upgrade over the Khazard helmet we were currently wearing. In between inventories, we cooked a bunch of baked potatoes and got ourselves 29 cooking. And then 30 cooking, which means that we can now cook apple pie, which we can actually do because the store in Yanil sells apples. So not only are apple pies significantly quicker to cook than stews, they actually heal more also. They heal 14 total per inventory space, or 7 per bite. So pretty good. And we also got ourselves 35 cooking. And at some point during all that, we got 30 strength. We also got the very first mystery box random event on our account, which has the potential to be many useful items, including the Mithril Scimitar, which would definitely be our best weapon that we have access to, along with even like a Rune Square Shield, or honestly, there's a lot of stuff that we can get. And of course, instead, what we got was a clue scroll that we couldn't complete, so that was awesome. We had to get back at the man in any way we could, so we stole from him and got 20 thieving. Then we hit 38 cooking, which meant that we could churn butter. Exciting. So we got ourselves some buckets, got on our knees and made some freshly squeezed cow juice. We got a gold necklace from the pirate random event. Thanks, Cap. And then we remembered that we couldn't really do anything with the butter that we were churning until next level, so we stopped doing that. So at 39 cooking, which is just one level away for us, we can actually make potatoes with butter, which heal 14, just like the apple pies, but the difference is it's a one-bite food, so it heals a lot quicker than the apple pies, making it the best food that we can currently get, until level 48, when we can actually do the baked potato with cheese. So we did that. We got 39 cooking, making apple pies, and we made ourselves a full inventory of what will likely be our very best food for the remainder of our time in this area. With an inventory full of baked potatoes with butter, each healing 14 each for a grand total of 350 extra hit points to work with, I felt much more confident in tackling the hill giants in the Tree Gnome Village maze. And it paid off in spades, because not only did we get 25 attack, we also got our new best-in-slot shield, the Iron Kite Shield. 25 thieving, 40 cooking, and we just finished our first Evil Bob random event, which means 7 fishing. And at long last, after killing I don't even know how many Yanil guards, we ended up getting the Steel Med Helm, which is the only drop that we wanted from them, and also pretty much completes our current melee setup that we can get. 27 Prayer, giving us access to Mystic Lore. 30 Defense, as well as all 30 melee stats. First Maze random event, which gave us 70-something Chaos Runes, as well as 3 Mithril Ore, both of which are completely useless to us right now. There's our new max hit of 6 with the Steel Longsword at 33 Strength, which is the last order of business I wanted to complete before heading off to take on the Khazard Warlord for the very first time. And so we pray to the gods, any gods, that we may survive the trials and tribulations that await us. Next time on GnomeEnvoy, the gnome-based area-locked Ultimate Iron Man. Thanks for watching.